Hello, I'm Gordon Lane, editor of CameraLabs.com, and I'd like to give you a brief video tour around the Fujifilm FinePix F30 zoom. Here it is, the F30, successor to the F10 and F11 models, and this compact has 6.3 megapixel resolution, a 3x optical zoom, a nice big 2.5-inch screen, and if you're into a bit of creativity or manual control, there's plenty of scene presets on the F30, along with an aperture and shutter priority mode that you can select from the main dial at the top. However, what makes the F30 really special is on the inside. This camera actually has a maximum sensitivity of 3200 ISO, which is pretty amazing for a compact considering most models only go up to 800, or if you're lucky 1600 ISO. In fact, there's plenty of DSLRs that only go up to 1600 ISO. We'll tell you how that performs in practice in just a couple of moments, but first we'll pop outside and check out the F30's menus and the optical zoom capability. We're outside with the F30, so let's see how long it takes to power up. That's about a second and a half before it's ready for action. Now we're zoomed all the way out, now all the way in, and all the way back out again. Now, like most compact cameras, you can overlay various graphics on the F30's screen. If I press the disk button here, we can overlay a grid, which is really useful for alignment. One of the other neat things that's good about the F30 is that it has an aperture and shutter priority mode. If I turn the dial on the top, we can adjust the aperture, first of all by pressing the exposure compensation button here in the bottom right corner. If I press that, you can see I can adjust the exposure compensation using the up and down arrows, or I can adjust the aperture by going left and right. You can see the aperture setting right here. It's quite handy to have this feature on a compact. Now, of course, the thing that's really special about the F30 is its very high ISO sensitivity modes, and you get to those by pressing the F button here. If I press it, we can see we can adjust the ISO setting from 100 all the way up to a massive 3200 ISO, and we've got samples of the quality at these different settings at CameraLabs.com. You can also change the picture quality here, or you can apply different colour settings, perhaps make it look a bit more vibrant if you're into that sort of thing. Now, just before we go, we'll have a quick look at the movie mode and one of the video clips that we recorded earlier with the F30. To start it playing, press the down arrow here, and as you can see, it's pretty smooth. It looks good on the camera's screen, or if you've got it connected to your PC or a TV set. It's a nice feature to have. Most compact cameras produce pretty nasty results at their maximum sensitivities, and to be honest, the F30, when set to 3200 ISO, doesn't produce photos that are that pretty. It's really just there for emergency use only. But the remarkable thing is what happens when you drop it to 1600 ISO. Sure, the quality is not so good that you'll be zooming into 100% on your computer and marvelling at the detail or producing the world's biggest prints from that. But if you're only producing prints at say 5 by 7 inches, they really do look perfectly good. And remember, this is a sensitivity on which on most compacts produces really nasty pictures. Drop down to 800 or 400 ISO and the quality just gets better still. Now, this allows you to use the F30 in the kind of environments that, let's face it, most of us do use compact cameras in, namely indoors, at night, under dark conditions, taking photos of our friends and family. And this camera is so sensitive, you can do that even without a flash. This is great for getting natural looking results, or for use in situations where the flash is discouraged, maybe in a museum or a gallery or a church. But that's not to say the F30's flash is bad. In fact, it's really very good. It produces very natural looking, well balanced results without that whole kind of washed out feeling that you sometimes get at close range. The battery life on this camera is also extremely good. We managed to get hundreds of shots out of it before the battery ran out, and so many of those were under very cold conditions. So what's wrong with the F30? Well, some people will be put off by the resolution of only 6.3 megapixels, but as you'll see in our tests at CameraLabs.com, there's actually not a massive deal of difference between one of these and a 10 megapixel camera. To be fair, also, it's not the slimmest or sexiest compact camera out there, so if you're after something that will slip into a shirt pocket, this might not be the model for you. Also, if we're being really picky, the aperture and shutter priority share the same position on the mode dial there, but to be honest, it doesn't make that much difference in practice. So really what you're seeing here is one of the best compact cameras that's available right now. And in fact, Fujifilm have produced an updated version called the F31 FD that adds face detection to this. But if you're the kind of person who's willing to lock the focus by pointing at the subject, pressing the button halfway down and recomposing, you're not going to have any problems with this camera at all. So it comes very highly recommended, but of course you want to see those high sensitivity results for yourself. So head over to www.cameralabs.com to read our full review and check out the results for the F30 in practice and how it compares against other 10 megapixel compact cameras.